Right. Good morning, all. So we are moving ahead with the Quran. So we are on Surah 46, Surah al Ahqaf, right? Surah 46, right? And this is the curving sand tracks, right? So this is really about being yourself authentically, being original in who you are, right? Being original in who you are, right? It is said that nothing is new. There is nothing new under the sun, right? But I'm referring to being you in terms of who you are as a person, who you are, your essence, your personality, your vibration, you. You. There is nothing like you. There is no one like you. There is no one like me, right? There is no one like you. There is no one like me, right? So being true to who you are, right? Whatever that means, right, to you, right? Living authentically, being true to who you are, right? Um, so the revelation of the book is from Allah, right? The exalted and mighty, the wise. Um, right. So Allah did not create the heavens and earth and what is between them, right? Heavens and earth and whatever is beneath or below for that matter, right? Except in truth and for a specified term, right? And it's a warning for those who disbelieve, right? So nothing is permanent, everything is created, but for a specified term, a specified period, right, on earth. Have you considered that which you invoke besides Allah, right? Show me what they have created of the earth, or did they have partnership in creation of the heavens, right? So it is saying that there is no partner to be associated with Allah, as reiterated in every surah, as reiterated in every surah, as reiterated in every surah, right? Bring us scripture revealed before this, right? It says, bring me a scripture revealed before this, right? Or a remaining trace of knowledge should you be truthful, right? Bring us scripture encapsulated the entire picture, is what is said, right? That's what is meant by that. Bring forth a scripture that encapsulates one scripture that encapsulates the entire picture, right? That wraps up the entire picture, right? Of things that people have been searching for, of the reality that people has been searching for in religion and spirituality, all that, right? If you should be truthful, right? Produce forth a scripture which encapsulates it all, right? Apart from the Quran, right? That's what the book is saying. So who is more astray than he who invokes beside Allah, right? Who is more astray than one who invokes besides Allah, right? For of their invocation they are not aware, right? Right. So if you would have, if you or I would have invented it, meaning the book, right? You would not possess for anyone the power of protection. Meaning that it is Allah alone who reveals the book. It is Allah alone who reveals the book, and it is Allah alone who has the capacity to protect us, right? Whether Allah works through us, however Allah operates, right? Nothing is outside of that, right? So it is Allah alone who grants that protection to you. It is Allah alone who grants that protection unto you, right? Because if left the people alone, people, if left up to people alone, people will act on their own whims and fancy. Therefore, it is through the will of Allah that you and I are being preserved, being protected until we are ready to leave this earth, right? Sufficient is Allah's witness between me and you, and He is most forgiving and merciful, right? Right. So know that you are, if you are sharing a message, you are certainly not original in the message that you share, right? You are not original in the message that you share, meaning that the things that you see have been said, have been fought for. The battles that you fight have already been fought for in the past. It's just that people have to come and they keep doing it over and over because humanity doesn't learn its lessons, right? So the things that you fought for have been fought for already, right? Things that you talk about have been spoken about already. You might do it in an original way, you might do it in an original style, right? But the things and the message and whatever you have to convey or whatever you have conveyed or will convey, right? These things have been said already throughout time, throughout history, throughout the ages, right? Um, right. Have you considered if it, meaning the Quran, was from Allah and you disbelieved, right? While someone else was a witness, right? So there are different fragments, different what people call tribes and so on, right? Within the religion and outside of the religion and so on. So the book is saying, have you considered if you, right? If you testify to something as somebody of another tribe or another religion to actually testify to the same thing, meaning testify to the reality of Allah and the truth of Allah, right? Have you considered that, right? That's what the book is saying, meaning that the book ties in together, it brings together, it unites. It actually unites through the testifying of different people of the same thing, right? It actually unites all people of all regions, tribes, religion, languages, all these things, right? And bring us back, right? Brings us back, right? Um, right. Those who have said Allah is God and remain on the right course, there will be no fear concerning them, nor will they grieve, right? And Allah have enjoined upon man to his parents good treatment, for your mother carried you with hardship through the pregnancy process and that birthing process with hardship, right? And you grow, reach maturity, right? And then you are able to say, God, well, I am grateful for this, I am grateful for that, right? So be grateful if you still have your parents, right? And make and ask God to make righteous for you your offspring, should you take that path, right? um right. So this is one of the things that could actually cause Allah to overlook some of your misdeeds, right? To overlook and grant you another opportunity and so on, right? So being there for your parents, so and so on, right? This is one of the things, right? It's not the only thing, it's one of the things, right? Just maintaining good relations with your guardians, your parents, as well as one of the things that can cause Allah to say, hey, well, you have another opportunity, you have another chance, right, to make things better, to do things better, right? um, right. And 23 verse 23, it talks about knowledge of the time of certain things, right? Knowledge of time. So what does it mean when I say knowledge of time? Knowledge is only with Allah, right? And knowledge, what they're referring to is at different phases in history, or different society goes through cycles of certain things. For example, there's a period of time where people worship idols, where people are heavily rooted in tradition. There's a period in time when people do away with that and focus on science and reason, and forget about God, right? So there's a period, and there's a period where people go through different societal changes when it comes to religion, spirituality, these things, right? So Allah is saying, well, the book is saying that knowledge for whatever happens in each particular period rests only with Allah, right? And that's why it is said that after the coming of the Prophet, there will be no religion acceptable to humanity, to Allah, and to humanity. There should be no religion acceptable apart from Islam, right? There's a time, and that time is only with Allah, right? There's a time for these phases and our learning process, right? There's a time for growth and our growing through this process for us to realize, hey, but tradition is not all that exists, or for us to realize that, oh, science and reason is not all that there is, and you can't find all the answers using science and reason, right? So this is what the book is saying. There's a time for us to discover that which is true, right? Right, so Allah has made for you hearing and vision and hearts and intellects, right? But your hearing and vision will not avail you, right? If you are not open, or if you are not open to the receipt of this message, right? And signs have been diversified, signs and or verses, right, has been diversified. So when it says signs, right, it can mean in the book, right? And most it should be from the book, right? Or your in-person experience and stuff, right? Things that you see online, things that you, revelations that you attain through technology that you see online and so on, right? It just know that technology could be manipulated in any particular way, right? Technology, your feed, your YouTube feed, your Facebook channel, websites can be played with, toyed with, toy with your emotions, toy with reality, right? So technology is actually a mimicry of that which exists in real, right? So you read a book, you get a particular sign or a message, you experience something in real life, in real person, right? That is in fact more meaningful and more true, right? You experience something in person, and that is more meaningful and more true than something you might see online, which could very much be a fabrication, right? A toy with your newsfeed, the algorithms, all those things, right? So just know to yourself, right, what the capacity that people have for evil out there, and what they can be capable of doing in terms of creating scenarios that should not be in the first place, right? And that is why God is saying, like, sometimes to just give your phone a rest, and it's difficult because the phone actually it pulls us in, it draws us in, and it happens to me still, right? The phone draws us in, right? Draws us in, and it has to do with entertainment, it has to do with comedy, it has to do with all these things that we want to fulfill something in us, right? That we think we don't already have, right? So as I was explaining to someone before, right, there was some time the other day I was listening to a song, right, and the song was like not even related to me or anything I was going through, but because of the intonation, the melody, right, the emotions, the heavily invested emotions, right, in the artist and how he was singing it and how he was performing it, right, it draws you in. And that is one of the things that you need to be aware and more conscious of when listening to music, right? Is one of the things you need to be more conscious of, regardless of the type of music. It doesn't matter, right? But just know that music on a whole, right, you have to differentiate what kind of music helps you heal, what kind of music drags you down a particular road that you might just be picking up emotions from the world, and it might not be your actual emotions, right? So, and these things have a way to drag you down a path that you might not be able to emerge from if you keep going down that road, right? So is to know be more conscious in terms of the music I listen to. Take a break from music now and then, right? Be more conscious of the types of music you listen to, one, right, and how it can actually impact on you if you are not self-aware enough to know the difference between these things, right? Right. So it is Allah who created the heavens and earth, as we mentioned when we start, and we'll end with our point as well. It is Allah who created the heavens and earth and everything in between, and did not fail in its creation, right? And it is only Allah who is able to give life to the dead, right? It is only Allah who is able to give life to the dead, right? Indeed, He is over all things competent, and all things in the world, and all things on heaven, all things on earth, right? So take care, everybody. That is the short message for today, and we will pick up with 47 tomorrow.